Where was I? I know. That was kind of a little bit scary, huh? Yeah. So, Dad, point one of your lasers down again for me. You're going to be taking pictures through the lasers for me. Like, literally hundreds. There's a big button that you have to worry about. Sometimes that screen will turn off. Just hit the button next to the big one, and it'll turn it back on. All right. Where was it? What do I have left? You get a special device. Oh, thank you. Getting right across. Your particular device, you've seen these before on the ghost hunting TV shows. These are an absolute must. This is going to measure electromagnetic fields. We want this thing to go a little bit erratic. If it starts making pulses, it's usually from an electronic device. We don't want the pulses. We want this thing to kind of go all over. You're going to be the first person to let us know what's going on. All right. You get a special device because I don't know what the relationship is here.
My daughter.
Okay, so Dad actually has something that measures temperature, right? So this one also measures temperature, but in a different way. It has 3 different functions to it. The first one is going to have an EMF, just like poles. So anything above 2.5 on the big numbers is a big deal. I kind of need to know what's going on. The bottom numbers measure cold spots from his camera. If he sees something, we need to be able to prove it or debunk it pretty quickly. The last thing it has is it's a motion sensor. So with that said, is he still running around here? It's going to go off because we're in the lot. But the gist of this is if something gets close to the antenna, it's going to go off in the same fashion that it's going off right now. So we'll kind of talk more about that at the first location. Me and London will show you more about how to operate it. Just keep this little flap open for us in the back so we can show you more about it. And because I keep screwing your name up, you get my special device. My latest the greatest thing. Crazy contraption. So, let me show you what this guy does and what we're going to be using for it. It's off, so you guys should not be able to see me in that camera. I'm going to do a quick round. I know it's a small screen, but I should be pretty dark. I know I'm underneath a little bit of light, but we're going to turn some lights on just so you guys get the gist of what we're looking for in here. So this is full spectrum lighting. Notice you guys cannot see the light with your own eyes, so I should be in a pinkish or purplish hue. So, just so you have a better gist, because you're going to be the one operating it. Are you right or left-handed? Right. Perfect. It's already set up that way. We're going to record in 2 locations. You're literally going to be toggling either the top switch and this bottom red button. The bottom button, just so you know, gives us night vision. We don't care about night vision. We want to use the full spectrum lighting only. So play with it, because this is a relatively new device. You're going to be telling me what works better between short range and long range. And
this one up here?
Yep. And it's already on.
Okay, so that's on. And this one?
Yep, it's already on.
I get it.
So the bottom one down here, considered a short range. This would be long range. So you kind of look for those darker areas of the air that we're going to see in, and that's where you're going to kind of play around. We will record in 2 locations, just because the file sizes on this thing, guys, are huge. For about 40 minutes of video, it takes about 8 to 9 hours to process. So there'll be certain areas. I'm just glad I didn't park down here.
So do I turn it off at a certain time?
Nope, not necessarily, because you're still going to want to use it as a viewfinder, even in some of the spots that we're not. I'm not worried about batteries. I got extras. So I mean, let's burn them up. Let's get used to it. Let's see how it works. And it's, you know, that kind
So
of
is it on right now?
Yep, it's running. It's just not recording.
Oh, gotcha.
Yep.
How do we make it record?
Which is going to be.
Are you going to tell me? You're going to tell me when to hit it.
Got it.
Okay.
All right. Now that everybody has devices in their hands and everybody has a job, and again, I want to apologize for the outburst with the gentleman that came over. So I was hoping he would have gone away. So the place where I told you guys to meet up with me at 251 East Bay Street, that used to be called Big John's Tavern. Big John was a football player for the 1947 New York Giants. He used to sit in the back of the bar, which I normally point to which window, but we can't see it anymore. He used to sit in the back of the bar to tell the bartender what cadets were old enough to drink when they came down after practice, or after, you know, obviously their drills. One night, 2 guys come in, they're not old enough to drink. John tells the bartender to get them out of here. So they leave, pretty angry. The next night, they come back and they try to steal the cash register from the front of the bar. Big John sees what's going on. He starts beating these guys up, beating them up on the floor. A couple of shots go off, and John gets hit in the neck, and the bullet ricochets and goes into the wall. John gets up, and he goes back to the bar, and he tells the bartender, get him another beer, and get the 2 guys on the floor in an ambulance. This guy's still across the street. So, what's haunting the place is the bullet hole is allegedly still there. They are renovating the place currently, so I'll have to go back in and check to see if it's still there. So, People that sit in the front of that bar tend to get a little queasy, nauseous, headache, very light symptoms. I don't say this to scare you, but if somebody feels any of those symptoms, I kind of need to know immediately so we can move the whole group on pretty quickly. So, I haven't had any instances in quite some time, but I won't say that they haven't happened in the past. Let's move on to happier things other than our own health, right, Mom? So, we had a big earthquake here in 1886. This building is allegedly where the first death occurred from that earthquake. The mantle that's in the middle of the building also wraps around the front on the east bay side. A piece of that broke off, struck somebody in the back of the head, and it killed them. Apparently you could see his ghost in the middle of East Bay Street in the middle of the night. Notice I said apparently and allegedly a lot with that story. Only because I don't have any proof. It's just a great segue so you guys aren't thinking about getting sick on my tour. So, normally we go across the street to where the Big Red Barn is. We're going to go pretty far to the other edge of the lot to stay away from our new friend. Okay? We don't need any other instances. We got kids with us tonight. So, I'm going to say let's move pretty quickly. London, kind of stick up front with me, if you don't mind. And let's move quickly so we can go ghost hunting. Let's head over this way.
Oh, there was someone that spoke. Oh my god, there's someone speaking.
Remember the guy that walked past us at the bottom of the building? Same guy.
Oh yeah, that's the ghost on
Yeah. Alright guys, now that we've made it over yet another hurdle. So, welcome to the Big Red Barn lot. Yeah, so, the Big Red Barn, this is where we keep your horses for your carriage rides. So they are still inside. Well, notice that in those windows there are no panes of glass. So absolutely no lasers on that building. So Harry, you're in charge of that, no, because we will spook those horses. Those of you with spirit boxes that make noise, you want to stay kind of just audible to you and one person only with those spirit boxes, just because we don't want to spook the horses that way either. So let's talk about the one-liner history of this place and kind of get into the gist more about your devices. And we will stay on this half of the lot, just so you guys know. I don't want to go to the back half. With that said, the only history I have here is this is the same red barn where we kept horses that delivered milk and eggs to the residents of Charleston. That's all I got. We're also pretty close to Big John's bar. So let's talk about your spirit boxes, because there are 3 of them. This kind of knocks these 3 devices out pretty quickly. This is not TV. This is not, is somebody here? Because if somebody answers no, somebody's here. Okay? That's not what we're after. We're after the details. We want the actual clues of what's going on. You guys are going to ask things in this particular area very quickly. And this is only, we're going to spend like 5 minutes here, just so everybody gets used to their devices. The questions you're going to ask, you're going to know the answers to. If somebody's here, tell me what color the barn is. It's called the Big Red Barn. Obviously, you're looking and listening for the color red. Keep in mind, your spirit boxes that give us radio stations might not have the color red that comes through a DJ or a song lyric. They might give you something specifically red, like a fire truck, blood, heart. What color is the barn? And you hear the word blood. Blood is specifically red. So it makes sense. It's about putting the clues together. This isn't about like, hey, my name's Big John. I was number 20. You know, it's not going to be a full conversation. These are small little clues that we're going to capture throughout the night. Speaking of Big John's teammates, if you hear a double-digit number, it's a good chance it might be one of Big John's teammates. But I also need another clue of who it is. Just because you heard the number 40, I also need the first name, which is the word Art. Art Faircloth was number 40 on Big John's team. These are the kinds of clues that I look for to piece together. I don't get excited about one thing coming through. It's about multiple pieces coming together roughly around the same times. Yes?
My spirit box just said the big barn.
The Big Barn? Nice. So we're going to take that. That's a definitive answer. I don't need another clue of where we are. We're obviously at the Big Red Barn. So, and you'll see me take notes based on the devices that don't record. So I'll be writing that one down once I'm done explaining all the other devices. So if you don't get the answer of red, blood, heart, fire truck, or something along those lines, open it up. What's inside the barn? Now you just open it up to animals, horses, draft horses, delivery, milk, and eggs, which could also be protein and calcium. I've seen it happen here before. So spirit boxes. That's the gist of what you're going to be doing here for just a few minutes. London's going to bounce around with you guys pretty quickly because I actually want to move us along to the next stop at just to keep our friend at bay, so to speak. So, London, if you want to start working with the spirit boxes, I'm going to take the cameramen and kind of show them a few extra tactics about their devices. I think he's already got the gist of his, but I want to show you a little bit more about yours.
Okay.
For sure. And then, London, after you're done with the spirit boxes, jump right over with the millimeter. Again, I want to get us out of here pretty quickly to get over to the Pinckney so we can learn some real history about Charleston and instead of trying to talk to ponies and football players. So, all right, let's spread out. We're going to definitely stay on this half of the lot. So, London, go ahead and start with the spirit box teams and figure out what's going on there. All right, thermal imaging.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want you to definitely try to keep somebody in view. This is a bad spot. I normally start over there, but
Right.
behind you, obviously, is some foliage. I don't know if it's going to bleed out or not, but normally if a person's not in view and you're like on a blank slate, it's going to bleed out to one color. And then usually I put my hand in the middle of it so you can see that the panel behind it, if it was the barn, is going to turn all blue versus it was all red. Again, you want that array of color. Are you getting the gist of where the dots are moving around? Can you see them?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So the dots are telling me what?
The hottest spot in the picture and the coldest spot in
Okay,
the
so
picture.
yeah, it's 78 in the barn. Test is 77, right? Or 80 something.
So yeah, and it's going to bounce all over. And
Yeah.
then there's a little chart there on
So
the
what's
right.
what's really low? 70s, you said?
I would say anything like 70 and below.
Okay.
So sometimes you're going to see vehicles that have obviously windows and windshields.
Right.
Those are going to be much cooler, especially if there's a little breeze coming wherever we are. So it might actually be 75 to 80 degrees.
Right.
If I see something go below 70, I'm going to probably get a little excited. And what you can really do to kind of cheat is I left the meter on for you here.
Uh-huh.
So it's going to give you the warmest temperature and the coldest
Oh, I
temperature.
see.
So again,
Okay.
you can almost just watch those two numbers and kind of see where they're at.
Yeah.
So when I watch the video the next day, I'm just watching those.
To see if you see something
Anything.
super low. Yeah.
You got it.
Gotcha.
So in here you have a bunch of different material. Obviously vehicles, you have metal, asphalt, foliage, all kinds of mess. Just kind of get a gist of how everything moves around and fluctuates.
Okay.
People get a little weird about cameras on their cars, so
Yeah.
just kind of be mindful of that. With your millimeter, and I'm going to keep him around for a second. I'm going to show you actually. London, where's she at? She's still showing things about that. But I think when you get your hand tired, and the only thing I want to show you is usually muscle lift to go the opposite way if you wanted to switch hands.
Oh, gotcha.
So that's really the only thing I wanted to show you with yours, because you pretty much have the gist of it already. You got a lot of questions already. Yeah, again, you're going to have fun with this. Check the darker areas. I'm not looking for things in the
It's
purple
simple but
circles.
complicated at
I'm
the
looking
same
for things in the dark
So
spots that you
this
can't see the
is
reflect
temperature,
light at
obviously, and then this
I can't
that's
see that
temperature.
up here, right?
That's
Oh, I can. Okay.
like basically the EMF that the will have, and then bring this out,
always have them do it, so that way they get used to it.
and then turn it over.
No.
Like
The whole device where the flap is open.
and then the second button over to the right is how you turn that on.
So go ahead and click it all the way into place. It's going to be bright when you click it in. It's the one, no, it's the one closest to the edge.
So right here?
Yep.
Oh, sorry.
There you go.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
And what are we looking for on that one again? A large number?
Yeah, the large number is just like Cole's K2 meter. It's electromagnetic field.
Gotcha.
So anything above 2.5 on that, if you happen to find a cold spot, and it's like constantly 65 degrees, we're going to be able to detect where it's coming from based on this little yellow probe, so it's going to be able to tell us.
Gotcha.
The antenna she just pulled out is a motion sensor, so if something gets close to it, it's going to go off. The closer it gets, the higher of a pitch it's going to go, and the higher the color is going to go across the top of the device. So you have a lot going on with that. Sorry, that's my wife texting, letting me know she got home okay. But there's a lot going on with this device. We don't always use the motion sensor with it. So at times when I say turn the spirit boxes down to the whole group, that's kind of your cue as well to push the antenna in and click the little white button in the back.
All right.
Okay?
Cool.
No problem. Yeah, lots going on here. So
And it was like, I couldn't understand what he was saying.
what did you hear so far?
So I heard the big bond, and then I heard just now it said to my left. So I was like, and it said to the left, and I was like, to whose left? And it was like me, and then I was like, what's to my left? And it was like construction, something like that.
Rich in these side pockets and find me a pen. Alright, I think everybody's got the gist. Are you guys ready to learn some real history now?
Yes.
Alright, let's do this.
You missed Big John. Big John didn't come on.
It's gonna get mad at you. It's gonna freak you.
I'm not skeptic. I'm paying attention.
My thing went off.
That's good.
Forgot what that meant. Sorry.
It's okay. That's motion. I heard it going off. So that was motion, something going on around you, but I wasn't near you to see if it was going along with your motion,
Okay.
or the way you were stepping, or if it was from something around you.
All
I
right.
don't know. You were walking normal.
Yeah.
Well, guys, welcome to another beautiful site in Charleston. If you guys don't know where to park by the time you're done with me, you guys have issues that I can't fix, just so you guys know. This place is one of those places that used to be something. So, this is where the Charles and Eliza Pinckney mansion was. So, who the heck were Charles and Eliza Pinckney? They had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. The son and the nephew, signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. It's a pretty big deal for us, but you guys are all on vacation. Nobody wants to
Oh
talk
my
about
God.
politics.
Oh my God.
So we're at 5.5.
It was like 15.2 earlier.
Perfect. Keep that number on the top of your head because it's going all over the place.
Okay.
All right, so you guys don't want to talk about politics, and neither do I. So let's talk about Eliza. She's way cooler anyway. Eliza married Charles. By the way, let me stop there. I'm not going to be giving you questions like, what color is George Washington's white horse, like what we did with the Red Barn. Okay, so this is going to be, you're going to get the answers from your spirit boxes. So, Eliza and Charles married at a young age. I'm not going to tell you how old she was. That's something you're going to find out on your spirit boxes. I will tell you that Charles was over double her age. So that kind of gives you clues as to which numbers you're listening for. But she married him because her father over in England thought he was dying. And he wanted all of his kids home. He wanted to see her one last time. She didn't think he was dying right away, so she got married. This is the 1740s. There's no such thing as citizenship. So this was literally her just putting her foot down and saying, Dad, I'm not going anywhere. I don't think you're dying yet. And she was right. He didn't die just yet, but she's already married. So Dad starts sending over gifts from England, basically apologizing. One of those gifts happened to be the plant indigo. Eliza was into botany. She loved to play with plants and experiment with them, which is right where you're standing. Once she had this indigo, she had to learn from her slaves that came from the Gullah culture how to keep it cultivated in our cold temperatures in the wintertime. It's not always like this, I promise. So once she had it down pat, she moved it to Mount Pleasant. She calls Dad back and says, I need to be able to sell this stuff overseas. Indigo is a plant that makes a blue dye that makes our blue jeans blue. You're wearing it right now. So that's actually how, sorry, I was looking for to see you have blue jeans on. It's weird, I actually have to search these days. So at any rate, it's how we still use it. Our rice plantations were going downhill, and it was a good thing that indigo was on its way up because it made Eliza one of the very few businesswomen of the colonial times. I'm just giving you enough of her history to kind of play around and so you guys know her background a little bit. There are some really cool, weird facts about her that you can ask about on your spirit boxes. So first note, you can ask about obviously the age of when she got married, but Eliza was the second wife named Eliza from Charles, back to back. So both Elizas go by their maiden name, the name she had before she was married. They both start with the letter L. So Eliza L. Pinckney, we have two different Eliza L. Pinckneys. Find out what the L stands for. You can ask anything you want to about Eliza's death. You can ask, hey Eliza, how old were you when you died? Where did you die from? Where are you buried? And what U.S. president was a pallbearer at your funeral? So that's a pretty interesting fact along the way too. As far as the mansion goes, it's not here anymore. You can obviously ask what happened to it and when that happened. I'm waiting for it to stop. Okay. Did you show that so, I did. Let's see. Oh, the children. So, before I set you guys free with your spirit boxes, the children tread lightly. Ask very light questions in regards to the kids. I already gave you one's name was Charles. but there was a tragedy among those children. Maybe ask how many she had, how many boys, how many girls. Leave it alone. Get some names. Again, just let it lie. The reason why is because that tragedy, if we poke that bear, all activity will stop. I've seen it dozens of times. Again, it's kind of crazy and ridiculous how it happens, but it does. So in here, we're going to spend about 10 minutes going through some questions. I'm going to be bouncing around with every single team, seeing what's going on with your devices. We definitely want to get your video recording on this one, so go ahead and start yours. You can hold that button down on the top. Look for those darker areas for me to kind of search through in the morning, and we'll see what happens. Same thing with you. Definitely just keep moving around and keeping everybody in view. But yeah, in here, spirit boxes can be loud and proud. Lasers. So Harry, definitely get done, lots of pictures with the lasers going on. Just keep the lasers off the vehicles because they will set off fire alarms. Yep. So, all right, guys, let's spread out. I'm going to be checking you guys in on the apps where you guys bought your tickets from. So give me just a few minutes, and me and Lyndon will be bouncing around with all of you.
Okay.
If you want to go ahead and start with her, so to show her how to reset it when it goes wonky.
Yep. So on the side over here, the very this one.
72 over there. I don't know if that's. It was for 70. It's bouncing over your right shoulder down to 70.
What's behind it? Is it the sign? Is that the sign?
I got a 2, and then I got a selfie.
And what was the number you had? 15.2?
Yeah.
Okay, if it goes above that, let me know, because that's actually pretty high, just so you know. Now, the other device that Cole has that measures the same thing,
the cars are later.
His only goes to 25. I've seen your big numbers go all the way over 100. So again, just it depends on what's going on around us and how much activity we're going to get out of all of this. But so far you're at 15, which is still good. Come here. Because yours is way more accurate than his anyway. That's why we use both of them so much better.
How old were you when you got married?
Follow you, Tessie.
I think she was born in August.
I don't know why my camera's messed up. It's like making me hold still. I don't know why that is. Fix it. Why is it doing that?
It's a ghost.
I don't know how to shut that 3-second thing off. $75, that's a car. You know how to fix it? It's fine. It worked.
Oh yeah, I think it's fine.
No, I think it's messed up. No love?
I got a 15.7.
15.7.
Yeah.
I think the garden's back here, so.
How old were you when you got married?
What do you think? Tessie, the red orb.
That's the reflection.
I know. Your mom thinks that when there's orbs in pictures, it's a ghost, a spirit. Here, keep walking around. Tessie, maybe we go back here. Huh?
I got like 4.9 and then like.
That's not much. Let's keep walking.
A lot of ghosts. Oh, good lord.
What's it saying?
It's like 3, but I said hey. Like I was saying hi to the ghost, now it's freaking out. Hey,
Eliza,
how's it going?
come on out and
Since
tell
you
us how
died.
old you are.
See, she's blowing up my thing. She thinks I'm being rude.
Are you really here, Eliza?
Oh my god. That's so sad. I think I believe in ghosts now. You're real.
What happened to your kids?
You can't tell us with numbers.
Yeah.
You can't say that.
No, I know. It's 70. There's some colder spots, but not really super cold.
Yeah. So again, she's got to go based on wherever the activity is. Because we're obviously doing the right thing right now. She's kind of calling around with you. So
Mine was going off really crazy. The highest it got was a 15.7.
I think the temperature gauge is on wherever this So the temperature, there's a setting on there to where if the temperature drops by like 5 to 7 degrees, it'll make a noise as well. So I just want to make sure we're not indicating that. I'd rather use this as a measurement tool versus what Dad's got
Gotcha.
going on behind you. We're not getting a false positive there.
Now it's blue.
That's pretty awesome. So, and I don't know if she told you or not, but you got a lot going on. I'm going to step away just to make sure it's not me. You always want to be
It's not at 9.9.
try to be as still as possible with that device. I normally give this to girls because you guys walk a lot more gently than guys. So with guys, as you walk, it's going to jostle every single time. So ladies, you walk a little bit more gracefully.
Well,
So,
I'll try.
yeah.
she'll be all right. She's got it. See, she's doing great.
Yeah.
Hey, Shoddy.
It did.
How's it going?
Ooh.
I heard, because I asked how did you die, and then I heard fire, and then funeral a couple seconds later.
Well, she didn't die by fire, but the
Okay.
mansion did catch fire. So maybe now you can find out what year the mansion died.
Okay.
Her funeral after that.
I wish we had the voice box.
8.3.
Just don't jostle.
Purple.
All right, we got purple right here. Let me see. 75, nothing 60.
I said, hey, Shoddy, how's it going? Now it's blinking all sorts
Here,
of colors.
don't hold it like this.
I don't think she likes me.
Okay, well, we'll be leaving soon.
Bye-bye.
To the next location. What number does it say?
2.
2.
Like 0.2. All I gotta say.
Yeah, I'm not getting any cold spots.
How old was Charles when he got married?
So anything crazy going on with yours?
No,
But
nothing.
Do you mind if I check to make sure it's still recording? Again, I'm a little worried because that whole scenario I ran into yesterday is... Yep, we're still good.
Okay.
There's a little counter on that orange bubble.
I didn't get any. Huh?
Something's going crazy there. What do your numbers say?
just like 0 and went up to 7. What does purple mean? Like it
It's
was
just
purple.
how close they get. So they were at a specific range. And I have that thing set pretty close to the antenna. I can make it real big, but the problem is
Then
every
it goes
bug's
off.
going to fly through it.
Right.
So-
Yeah. Mine went all the way to like purple.
And there was nobody near you, or
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
That's this lot. It's wonderful. This is just chock full of activity for me. Like, and I've had nights where I've gotten nothing out of here.
Yeah.
But other nights, like we're getting clues already. She's already found out what happened to the mansion. She's asking me about the funeral and different things with like the young lady that has the black spirit box. Like she's hearing all kinds of things out of that thing.
Huh.
So, and we already
Interesting.
have the word tremor that showed up on the word list as I was talking about the earthquake over there.
Right.
So again, somebody was listening in on our conversation there and kind of saying, hey, I hear you, there's tremor. But again, I'm going to look for another clue, maybe the year of that earthquake or something
Right.
along those lines to make sure that it's legit and it wasn't a coincidence. So,
Have you ever just had like crazy home run stuff happen?
for example, last night, this one, we didn't hear it in real time,
Yeah.
but the recorded spirit box, I'm listening to it this morning, and it said, in this lot, it said, Constitution, they all have signed. And it was 2 different voices, so they literally pieced it together to say that for us in one sentence.
Really?
Eliza, can you
And that
please
happens
tell me
all
if
the time.
Charles was alone
I probably
when he
get something
died?
like that maybe once a week.
Yeah.
Not relating to the Constitution, but
But
that many
something.
clues that say this is that specific.
But it's from like radio stations.
It's kind of like, did you see Transformers, the movie?
I think so.
So Bumblebee talks through the radio.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
his voice box.
Yeah,
It's the same principle.
Okay.
Only the things that we're catching out of that, even when I give you guys the audio markers that I hear,
Yeah.
they're not all going to be relevant to what we're doing.
Right.
It's just a matter of teaching you how to listen to it. So with that said, only some of those things I'm going to be giving you backlinks to show you where I got my information from.
Right.
It's not because I told you, it's because Britannica.org said so. Because, I mean, I got to keep reading. I learn new stuff every day.
Yeah.
That's the great thing. I could probably write a whole book on the Pinckney family at this point. 'Cause
Yeah,
they
I
keep
bet.
teaching me stuff. Out of
That's
spirit
wild.
boxes. It's craziness. What
And
do you got
then
now?
you go
Where's
research
Charles?
it.
Always.
Yeah.
Yeah, every day.
Was one of the Charleses alone when he died?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know.
Because I heard a bunch of yeah, yes, something like that in that lines. So yeah, and then because before she said that, it stayed silent for like a long time. It didn't
Okay.
want to answer, and then it said that. So.
Okay.
Cool.
Keep going.
I just got 19.1.
19.1. So now we got a new high.
I asked, when I asked if Charles died, and then there was a pause, like a long, long pause, so I asked again. There was another pause, and then I asked again, and there was another pause, and I was like,
I'm going to the front yard. Did it again. Ooh, slow down. What's the highest reading there?
What?
What was the reading when it made that noise?
I don't know.
Alright.
26. I got like 19.1 at one.
Alright, we can move to the next spot. We're not getting any activity on our devices. 20.2 right here. But it's just moving all around. What's it?
So I can't explain it. That's why
Yeah.
we record everything. So it's different in here every night. I've had nights in here it goes up to 150. So a couple of nights ago, I think my highest in here was like 5.6. I mean, it was super low.
Yeah.
That's why I record everything, because again, it's never the same. You said 20.1?
2.
2.
What is it? Oh, look at that rooftop bar. That place looks awesome.
Yeah.
What is that called?
That is, what is that? 625 Grill or something along those lines
Okay.
with the rooftop bar. High Society up there.
I just
Is
got
it?
26.6. So,
I'm gonna
oh my god, 31.7.
hold that number in your head. If it goes higher, I'm not gonna keep writing them all down.
Okay.
31.7.
Yeah.
That's the highest so far.
So usually I'm like, oh, we have a spike. We have 15. That's good. But yours keep going up and up and up. and
Okay,
up.
I don't think the ghost is right there because I still got like a bunch of stuff right there. But like, I don't know.
31.7. Take it. And that was from your movement.
Okay.
So I seen how your arm was moving, and I watched it kind of go array with the colors. That's why it
This
went
is
on.
like the center of the house, right? So like,
This would have actually probably been walking out into the courtyard, because Eliza's garden lined up with that left tree and came all the way across. So they had a little bit of a courtyard going into it, and then the slave and servant quarters went in back. So again, this would have been just leaving the house right here. This is the house up here, this way.
yeah, I all
that
the
was
like
pee-pee.
really high numbers
No.
I got
Okay.
were like
No, stop.
around
That was
here.
pee-pee. I asked
Like the
what
19, the
was
20, the
flower
30.
in your garden and it said
It just got
indigo.
23.
It literally said indigo.
You heard indigo?
Yeah, because I said, what was your favorite flower in your garden? And it said indigo.
Take it. So
Wow.
it's not uncommon to hear the word indigo here, because we have the Indigo Inn, we have the Indigo Hotel, we have Indigo Streets. You know, it's not uncommon. Let's put it this way: I don't hear it often, like a ton, but I'm not surprised that you heard that word, because again, where we are, it gives it a little bit more vulnerability for us to be able to hear it. So I'm going to write it down as a definitive piece, because it was a direct answer of what was your favorite flower. You heard indigo.
And then, do you know what type of fire started the house?
I don't know what caused it.
She didn't answer to that, but I asked what type of I asked what caused the fire, and then I heard artificial. Artificial was like fireworks, like
That I don't. Again, I don't know what caused it. So I know that it was a great fire, which means it took up a lot of space. So it went from coast to coast. The house was just in the way. So, and we're pretty close to the coast, obviously.
Yeah.
So, you're doing a great job.
Thank you. Okay.
No more of those.
Did the fire burn your house? Did the fire burn your flower?
Remember, don't move too much. Hold it still.
Is your favorite color indigo?
All right, let's move on. I'm getting bored with this guy.
Alright, guys, let's come back here. We're kind of review what we've caught so far. And fun. Give you guys some answers. Good stuff. It's good work. So, again, spirit boxes are not the easiest thing out here to do. So, they're actually the hardest thing to do. And we're getting quite a bit on this one. So, we've already heard the word indigo. We've heard the word fire, which is what happened to the mansion. We have a bunch of other things that I wrote down, but those are probably the two most prominent things that I've heard so far. I'll definitely have all of them in your notes, especially if they're relevant. We are struggling a little bit on this one. We heard the word declaration, but we're talking about the Constitution, not the Declaration of Independence. So we do have a couple of slight clues on the word list. So again, I'm going to kind of go through those to make sure they're relevant first before I really blow them up for you guys. But we did hear Lauren, which is another Pinkney that I didn't mention tonight. We're just starting to research him. His name is Henry Lauren Pinkney. We have the term Leo, so we're thinking that might be like a horoscopic sign. So I'm going to start diving into birthdays. And we did get the word tremor when I was telling you guys about the earthquake at the beginning. So the answers to the questions, let's go ahead and turn the REM pod portion of that off, just so I don't feel like I'm constantly being interrupted. So that's the white button in the back too. Or else it'll continue to go off. So Eliza was 22 years old when she got married to Charles, who was 45. So again, he was double her age.
I had 46.
You're always close on the numbers. That's the third number you were close to. So where was they? As far as Eliza's death, we'll go into that. She was 70 years old when she died in 1793. So it's a long time to be living during those times. And she died of breast cancer in Philadelphia, which is also where she's buried. So again, kind of answers the question of why don't we go to actual cemeteries on the Stories in the Cemetery tours? Because you're not going to hang out where you're buried after you're gone. You're going to go to places that you love, which is why I come to places like this. So when I say she died of breast cancer, it's 1793. We don't have breast cancer as a thing yet in 1793. We're going based off of her medical records. There's no such thing as cancer yet. As far as the president, now that you guys know what year she died in, any guesses on which president was the pallbearer? You guys?
Do you know what a meter is? Like, I don't know.
The meter for this lot?
Yeah.
So it's probably going to be the texting number. It's the green sign over there.
Okay.
You got to text the number.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. You guys are still guessing on the president, aren't you?
Yeah.
And I
You
tricked
used
all
to be
of
good
you.
with that.
No. Wait, 1793 was. Nice.
Remember I told you guys earlier before we even got started. There was, but I'm not going to be giving you questions like what color is George Washington's white horse. It was indeed George Washington. So you guys all passed with a fail by not remembering George Washington. So good job on that one.
Not a Leo. That is a Libra.
Oh. So, stop interrupting.
My bad.
Anybody need a teenager? Looks like you guys all have one.
We got plenty.
So, let's see, where was it? Oh, the kids. So we already know about Charles. Thomas was another son. And then there was baby George. That's the tragedy. We don't know how old George was exactly when he died, whether days or weeks old, because his death certificate has the same month and year as his birth. So again, there's no grave for this child. We don't know what happened to him, but he was named after Eliza's father. So now we have 3 Georges: her son, her father, and George Washington. So again, I always need that extra clue to know who the heck I'm talking to in the event one of those terms comes up. Speaking of George the father, Eliza's maiden name was Lucas. So that makes her father George Lucas. So that's always an easy one for me to remember. And the other Eliza, her maiden name was Lamb, like as in the animal. So Eliza Lamb Pinkney. I think that, there was one more child from Eliza and Charles. Her name was Harriet. She actually lived in the Myrtle Beach area because she married in Horry. Myrtle Beach is in Horry County. So there was no 2-hour car ride to go see her daughter. There was a lot of letter writing back then. So a lot of terms around writing come up here as well when it comes to the daughter. So I think we actually have plenty. We had some really good spikes on the EMF over there. She went all the way up to 31.2, I think you said? 31.7. So that's pretty high. That's higher than yours actually goes. Yours only goes to 25. So the fact that she went over that is a good sign. I'm definitely going to be paying close attention to the recordable spirit box to see what we get out of that. From here, we're actually going to go up East Bay Street. And did you guys get plenty of pictures on the lasers? Let's see a whole lot of lasers. Okay. We're going to go up East Bay Street to our next haunted location, to Lodge Alley. You guys are all on vacation and in Charleston. You need to see some cobblestone. Spirit boxes, I want you guys to listen for names. Let me know what names you hear when I ask for them once we reach Lodge Alley. Lodge Alley, however, is a quiet area. Once we get inside, you will turn down your spirit boxes because there is a hotel next to it. Lasers are a no-go for a little while, but definitely take some pictures for us. London will show you some really good spots to take some pictures. When we get to Lodge Alley, it's all on you. We want pictures of the alley before we all go down there looking for light anomalies and any kind of orbs that might pop up. As far as filming, keep going. EMF meters, so the two of you, They're gonna go off because of the parking meters. You can ignore them until we get to Lodge Alley and kind of let me know what's going on until like once we get inside. So again, I don't like false positives. We're gonna start recording again at a later location. So do you think maybe we caught anything? You think? Did you see anything?
I don't know, Zippy.
The screen is small. So when I upload it to YouTube, I obviously watch it on a pretty big desktop screen, and if it's questionable, then we put it up on the 50-inch TV and watch it there. So, questions, comments, concerns? I hope our friend is gone, so I hate to keep bringing him up, but he really got me stirred up tonight. So, let's head up this way, guys.
Why call? I had chawl and then shot. Which makes no sense, but okay. Chawl shot. Gosh, this vehicle will look like it's got its gas in it. It's so fast.
If they call,
Random ass.
Should get ice cream.
Oh, we're right back by where we were earlier today. Oh, that place is right there.
that's the market million.
$5, one in white is a bread.
Honestly, we could have.
Yeah, we literally could. It's a walk. Yeah. Okay, we'll just go there.
I'm not taking that bet.
Flowers bloom in springtime.
Not gonna have to hang out.
Honey, how
Did you just take up a desk?
Hold on, watch out.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
I have a bunch of weird stuff. I love this thing. I love this. That's easy. I have to solve.
I can't. I'm sure.
So it's funny.
A lot
It's
of
so funny seeing all these.
Yeah, I was like, okay, because I didn't see it. I took a shot and I didn't look back on the picture, but I saw it when I took the actual picture. The shadow was really quickly. But I still took it. Classic.
I heard a bunch of stuff on this thing.
The previous one was when I literally asked what did you
Oh, it's a Chicago bar.
Back there.
It's a Chicago bar. That Max place. Yeah.
That you loved indigo. Because it could just popped up randomly and didn't think, but still not that scary. That's why I kind of think that. Because it was like, I literally asked him if it was that, and it was like, indigo. Yeah.
Oh, that's another place I looked at.
Yeah, maybe if it's like to the left and I look to my left and there's like a fence and I go like that. Easy. It's a dog, so like that.
typical
cool.
ghost tour?
I've never been on either one. So
Your typical ghost tour is going to be much larger groups.
yeah, and it's just people just telling stories. Yeah, no, this is cool. This is fun. You do a nice
Nothing wrong
job.
with that, but it's
Yeah, it's just two different types of
oh, yeah,
experiences.
way different.
I think you got to get back to the your picture on the thing though with the little
Oh,
with the beard. You look so mysterious.
Those were headshots for my book. That
Oh,
one was
okay.
from like, God, probably 5 years ago.
What's your name of your book?
That one was Growing Dim. I'm actually
Okay.
putting out a new book at the end of the year.
We'll look you up, man.
You'll see it all at the top of your data page. It's
Okay,
all
cool.
there.
Yeah, I'm sure. Ooh, wait, Tess.
Come on down. Yeah. You want to be nice and still? Yeah. Okay. Take about 2 or 3 of them for me.
Oh, there's 70, 76 right down
We
to
got
the
cold
right.
spots coming out of the buildings.
Okay. Oh yeah, I see what you're talking about now.
Right about there.
Yeah.
Nice good cold spot. Alright. Welcome to Lodge Alley, everybody. You guys kind of like hesitant about coming down and seeing you guys like leering back. I'm like, it's not that creepy, is it? So when we crossed that last crosswalk, that was the original Charlestown Wall. That's where it used to be. So we're talking about a very old walled city. This is one of the first streets we ever had in Charlestown. So it was called Lodge Alley back then because this is where the Freemasons had their first lodge. So we get the terms like Freemason and Masonic Lodge and bricks and clay stones and all kinds of things down here. Keep in mind, the 2 buildings on either side of us weren't here during early 17 and 1800s. There was residents here. So the reason why I asked for names, did we hear any by the way? No names?
I got Layla and Michaela.
Probably not relative names for that time period, but I would definitely look at the list. I have the full list of residents of every person that's ever lived down here. Granted, the list isn't very long, but it is fascinating to look at because these people were considered lower class. They did do an archaeological dig on the stones we're standing on, found some of their tools, their silverware, some of their clothing. We're able to classify these people as lower class. It also makes sense because of where we are in the city. Across the street on East Bay, the street we were coming down, on the opposite side is where the other side of the wall was going south. I'm going to show you the other end of it here shortly. But the smell of low tide would have been coming through here quite often. So again, you're not going to live here if the smell of low tide is coming across your front porch, unless this is all you can afford. So their occupations are also listed there. It's pretty interesting to take a look at that list and see what actually pops up out of it. I do get 2 common names, Benjamin and John. Granted, there were 4 different Johns that lived here during that 60-year span, but when I get his last name as well, which was Johnson, yes, his name was John Johnson, those were 2 out of 5 people that lived here in 1801. Again, it's not a very long list of people. There's only a certain amount each year. So 5 people living here, 1 named Ben, the other one named John, and I hear those 2 names together. It's pretty convincing evidence when I see it probably about once a quarter. So I definitely listen to your spirit boxes along the way here and the audio from the thermal imaging video to see if anything's popping up as far as names for EVPs. So again, this is kind of giving you a layout of the land. This is a brief stop. From here, we're going to actually go up to St. Philip Cemetery, up to closer to that area. It's a very busy area. I stay out of all the other tours' way because you guys joined the annoying loud group tonight, and I just like to stay out of their way. just because we are a little bit louder and that kind of thing. I'll tell you a few legends and lore on that corner, kind of give you guys a break, let you sit down for a few before we dive into a female pirate across the street from there. The female pirate story is pretty good stuff. So I do get a lot of evidence out of the Powder magazine based on that story, and it's going to be a deep dive in, investigation like what we did at the Pinckney Mansion site. So, but that story is pretty heavy, and it is considered what I call a level 3 because the story, there's probably thousands of different versions of the story. The only things that I tell you out of the story are things that I've seen and that were common among all the books I read about this woman. So I'm not giving you the legend of her and the lore and that this could have happened. I'm giving you the facts. So that way we can go based off of fact only. So from here, we're going to cut through the rest of the alley. We're still in a no laser zone. Sorry, Harry. If we can get close to the cemetery without another tour in our way, we'll go and get some laser pictures. We'll definitely want to get some full spectrum video out of Utah. So I would be kind of keeping an eye on them other groups because they all go there to tell one long story that it shouldn't have to be very long. But they do it anyway because it's their finale. So let's get up to our next spot and let's go see what else we can capture.
Cool.
So, hopefully you got some good pictures.
Who lives here?
What?
I got Jane or Jane a couple of times.
I think there was a Jane.
There was a Jane? Well, I got a Jane like 2 times in a month.
Me writing everything down tonight.
Thank you.
Who is walking with us? Who is walking with us? I got a J, an M. About it.
There was, but you're not so good.
How about a modern thing? I got Robert. Robert doesn't seem like a very good name.
Robert?
Robert. Yeah. I got Robert cheese. And I said, who are you? I'm like, Robert.
Yeah, put you guys to work and now I'm giving you a break. So you guys are all going to be asking a be working for me later on. So, we're taking pictures. I love it. She's into it. So, did you guys notice the, well, let's get to your word list. Sometimes it changes what stories I need to tell. Like the last one.
Mattress, hammer, picture, itching, stars.
Picture. Okay, we're going to go with picture. So, sorry, I had to go through them all in my head twice as you said them quickly. So, the story that they're telling up there, I'll just get that one done and out of the way. That's the one that they drag out that doesn't need to be dragged out. So, that one, they're up by the cemetery. That's the eastern side of the cemetery because there are two different sides. But there's a sign right inside the gate that says, "There's no ghost here but the Holy Ghost." The reason for that is because in 1888, a young lady named Sue Howard Hardy died 6 days after her stillborn child. So, the baby was not born alive for you younger folks. So she died of heartbreak. 1987, we have a photographer in town. He's taking pictures. He captures a full apparition of a woman with a baby basket next to her over her grave in 1987. Now, stuff like that is like gold for me because it obviously is evidence. But with that said, it's 1987. Nobody can debunk the picture. He sends it to Kodak. They can't debunk the picture either. So it remains a mystery. However, the picture is got a little bit of a curse to it. Females that hold it are not going to feel good. Kind of the same symptoms I told you about earlier. Pregnant females, it's not going to be even better. So, kind of give you the gist of that. Keep it PG for the amount of people we have here. So with that said, I don't show the picture. However, I will give you the link to it, but it will have a heated warning on it that females, please don't click this link. I have to be able to prove of what the story actually is. So, males, dads, brothers, if you guys want to see the picture, by all means, take a look, show it to your females in your group. But it is pretty convincing. But that's the story they're telling. And they're going to be up there for 10 minutes telling that story. So that's the reason why pictures showed up. The beautiful alley that we just passed up, that was, did you guys notice that with the bricks on the ground? That's Philadelphia Alley. So it's easy to remember because that's where Eliza Pinckney's buried. It's named Philadelphia Alley because that's a city that helped us out of one of our many fires. Now, it was named that after dueling became illegal and stupid. So that used to be called Dueller's Alley. We all tell the story of one duel because we can actually prove that it actually happened and these were real men that fought. So here's the story. It's going to be pretty gist and hopefully we get some words on the spirit boxes during this time. There's a nice breeze coming through here too, so enjoy it while we can. So, Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd moves down here from Rhode Island. He moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. Now, the attorney handling all that money told Amanda, get rid of the doctor, I think he's just after your money. So the doctor moves from Rhode Island to Charleston. He just graduated from med school, he dressed pretty well. The coachman that brought him into town set him up to be robbed and killed. He's going to send him to a house where his buddy is and they're going to kill him. So, somebody walking by sees what's happening. His name is Ralph Isaacs. Also keep in mind, Ralph has the same initials from where the doctor came from. Ralph Isaacs, Rhode Island. RI shows up for me quite a bit here. So, he sees what's happening. He says, you don't want to stay here. Let me take you somewhere safe. He takes him to 59 Church Street. We're on Church Street now. That's actually called the Thomas Rose House now, but we'll get into that later. But anyway, he takes him up there. He's safe. The two become friends. The doctor's practice starts to take off. He becomes known as the Whistling Doctor. He's making lots of money. Amanda's moving down soon. He's doing pretty well for himself. So him and Ralph used to go see plays together. However, the doctor made more money. He got better seats. He had better seats than his friend Ralph, so they couldn't sit next to each other. So they talked about the play on the way home. One night they go see William III from Shakespeare, and they start talking about the actress that was new in town. The doctor loves the new actress, Ralph does not. They start arguing, then Ralph starts insulting the doctor's fiancée back home in Rhode Island. Obviously they get pretty angry with each other and they go their separate ways. Now, Ralph being from here goes to his friends at the newspaper and puts an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what a disgrace the doctor is to the city. So, obviously the doctor sees the ad and he rebuttals with, let's go to Dueller's Alley. We're gonna let them pass it.
Congratulations. Okay. Sweet. Said future Mrs. something.
Yeah.
Yeah, she has a sash of some sort. I couldn't see it. So he rebuttals with, let's go to Dueller's Alley, we're going to settle this. So they come down, they take their 20 paces, they turn, the doctor points his gun in the air, and he shoots. He did not want to kill his friend. He just wanted to make a point. However, Ralph still has his one shot. He puts it in the kneecap on the doctor, so he didn't die. So his friends pick him up and they carry him home to 59 Church Street, where he died 10 days later. They say as you walk through the alley, you can hear the whistles from the doctor. Keep in mind, if you're gonna walk down there, turn on your voice recorders on your phone. It's fun. And you're allowed to walk down there as tourists through Charleston. Tour guides are not allowed to take you down there. I used to take my groups down there. It's residential at the end. I got caught taking my groups down there. So, with that said, just for pinpoint of reference, the night I got caught by the new neighbor was the same night that the gentleman we met at the very beginning of our night was at the other end of my last stop of the night, and he got into an argument with me there as well. So it was kind of like, dude, stop interrupting my tours. So I'm trying to work. But anyway, that's where me and London have met him before. Now, as you walk through, listen for those, the whistles as you're going through on your voice recorders. But keep in mind there are a lot of hecklers in town. They do know the story. As they're walking down Queen and Cumberland, they're gonna throw a whistle down the alley. So,
Hey, how are y'all?
good. How are you? What is going on here? So just kind of keep in mind, it's going to be a very faint whistle as you guys are listening for it. So we are going to take advantage of nobody at the church right now. Let's get some footage on your camera. And we definitely want to throw your camera in there too. Let's get some lasers pointed in there, and let's see if we can get some pictures before another tour guide comes up.
You said the whistle, yeah, of the doctor. What was that then? They whistle if they had a patient or?
No, he was whistling because he was happy.
Ah, okay.
He whistled all the time.
Ah, okay.
Also, I heard Manda before you said Manda. Yeah.
Go ahead and throw your camera up in there. Let's get a little bit of footage because we never know what we're going to actually capture in here. Again, I'm always trying to prove the stories. I can definitely prove that Sue Howard Hardy was a real person, but the only thing I've ever gotten from this story is on the spirit boxes. So I'd like to actually have footage from it. So.
Who was buried here?
Now, you guys see the light there off to the left?
Who got buried here?
That's for people like me. They don't want people taking pictures. That camera's pointed right at us, right at the sign, so that nobody's trying to take pictures of another ghost. That's the whole
Because
point.
this is where it happened.
Right, this
right
is exactly where it happened. The sign is right there in front of you guys. So apparently Sue Howard Hardy's grave is a little bit further back, like it's midpoint.
Uh-huh.
So again, it happened
So
right here.
this is the real church, and they put that
Yeah.
up there.
Yep. Because of the story. Because so many people were coming up here trying to recreate the picture.
Wow.
But as you can see, the cameras that I
And there's
have,
a link
it
to
doesn't
that
affect.
picture on the internet.
I'm gonna give it to you.
Yeah.
Who is me?
It's a great picture. Like, it's pretty damn convincing.
And no one's been able to.
Debunk it. I mean, it's pretty legit. There's detail in there. It's 1987. There's no
Right.
way
Yeah.
this guy created this photo this way. I mean, you can see a baby basket right next to her from 1888.
Huh.
Pretty convincing stuff. All right, let's go learn about some
Do you know
pirates.
any of the people that got buried here?
There's a lot of people buried in there.
Yeah.
Learn about some pirates.
Car. Check on your camera, make sure it's still recording.
we're going. Good deal. Sorry, I'm just checking the bubble, make
No
sure
problem.
it's all going. So we're definitely gonna have to change out your battery once I'm done with the story here, because it normally dies in this location. I'll make sure we can continue on without interruption. So this is a very interesting place, just because this is the oldest government building we have on the East Coast. This is the powder magazine, the building in front of the apartments. I didn't go up there because that's where a lot of the tours stop for a few minutes, and I don't want to be in their way. But we are going to get closer to it once we're finished over on telling the story. The oldest government building actually looks like it has crosses on it. Those are actual earthquake bolts. Remember me telling you guys about the earthquake? The gist of earthquake bolts is that they're on turnbuckles. If we get quaked again, the building gets shake, you can turn those turnbuckles and it'll straighten the building back up again.
Huh.
It's a great theory, but it doesn't work. So those are the very first earthquake bolts that Charleston actually put in based on the history of the building. It held gunpowder for 7 different wars, including the Civil War. So I told you guys about the Charlestown Wall back in Lodge Alley. This is the street where the Charlestown Wall came up. It went up past the powder magazine and about half a block past and started going south towards the battery. It's tucked into the corners on purpose. If it gets attacked by cannon from the water, it's going to have a hard time getting through to the gunpowder to blow it up because those walls are 32 inches thick. But let's say that it does. There's sand in the roof underneath those shingles from 1712 that blows up in the air and falls to put out the fire from the gunpowder. Another great theory that doesn't work. We had another powder magazine closer to the battery. Same, it actually did get attacked. Powder goes up in the air, the sand goes up in the air, falls, but it cannot put out the fire. The whole building burns to the ground. This one has never been attacked based on its geographical location. I tell you all of this history about this one building on purpose because our story actually begins in the middle of when this building was being built. It took a whole decade to finish this building, 1703 to 1713, so 1708 is where it starts. Follow me on this one, it's kind of a doozy. A young lady moves here, we have, believe it, yeah, I'm not a liar. So you guys can verify everything. I'm even going to give you the links to do it for yourselves. And I'm going to want to look at your list again too here shortly. Young lady moves here from Ireland with her dad and his mistress, who happens to be her mom. The 3 of them are getting away from his wife. So you guys all follow me on that one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm trying to keep it as PG as I can. So they come here in 1708. She recognizes the building because Dad bought a plantation in Georgetown. So he sends her down here to do all the business. So we're going to fast forward, 1713, it's finished. 1715, pirates are coming through town. Now it's exciting times for Charlestown. So she is kind of, hardcore girl. It was a little rumor that when she was young, she actually stabbed one of the servants with a knife to the belly and killed her. So just kind of shows you how bad this girl was. Now, pirates coming through town, she falls in love pretty quickly with these guys. She falls in love with one particular. His name is James Bonney. Dad doesn't approve because he's a filthy pirate. What dad's going to approve of that? I'm not going to. Am I going to? No, I'm not. So they run away to Jamaica. They get married. Anne Cormac is now Anne Bonny, your most famous female pirate of the Golden Age. Now, when they get there, they realize that this guy is a coward. This is not who she wanted. She wanted Captain Jack Sparrow. This is not that guy. He's a privateer. He's a spy for the British. So she falls in love again to try to get away from this guy. The new guy, we're on guy number 2. I'm going to keep tally. His name is John Rackham, a.k.a. Calico Jack. Calico Jack is, he kills his men. He wears the jackets of his victims. That's why he's called Calico Jack. He's way younger, has his own ship, and he is that Captain Jack Sparrow mentality that she wanted. She wants to be part of the ship, but females curse pirate ships, don't they? He says, you can be part of my crew if you dress like one of the guys. You have to be part of the crew that way. She's okay with this because Dad used to hide her when she was a young girl as a boy to keep her away from his wife. So she's okay with this. She just wants to be a pirate. It's okay, Lena, you want to help her out? So with that said, she dresses like a guy. She becomes part of the pirate crew. She's allowed to be a girl in his quarters. We keep it PG. She eventually gets pregnant. So, can't have a pregnant pirate guy on the crew, so he drops her off in Cuba. Go have the baby. We'll figure it out when you come back. She has the baby. She returns without a child. We don't know what happened to the baby. Then she's dressed like a female. She doesn't care anymore about hiding her gender. This makes Jack mad. He also just captured another pirate crew, and they're being held captive down below deck. She's going to make Jack even more jealous by flirting with this new pirate captive crew. The guy she's flirting with is a female pretending to be a guy to be part of the pirate crew that Calico Jack just captured. So now we have 2 females doing the exact same thing on the same ship. She convinces this young lady, her name was Mary Read, like you read a book, same spelling, to become part of the crew. The British find out where they are. They send in their fleet to come attack the ship. All the men are down below deck watching the new captives. They're too drunk to come up. It's Anne Bonny and Mary Read trying to take on the entire British fleet. Of course, this ship gets captured. Now, as Calico Jack is being arrested, Anne Bonny's last words were to him, "You should have fought like a man instead of going down like a dog." So the word dog is definitely a key word here because we see it quite often. So the judge, his name is Nicholas Laws. When you guys hear or see my name, it's not me, it's the judge. He wants to see the two men that fought back by themselves. He tries and hangs all the other men that were down below deck, including their captain, Calico Jack. They're dead and gone. It's a week later, November 28th, 1720. Anne and Mary go in front of the judge. They reveal their gender, hoping to save themselves. He doesn't care that they're girls. He said, "I'm still going to hang you because you're still pirates." I know, history's boring. I'm trying to make it exciting. I see yawns.
I
So,
think it's cool.
now, he doesn't care, but they say, "We plead our bellies," which means they're both claiming to be pregnant, and for, obviously, a second time. We don't know if that's true or not, but he said, "Fine, you cannot hang a pregnant woman in 1720. He sends them both back to jail. Dad is still here in Charleston. He bails out Anne and brings her back home. She remarries guy number 4, has 4 children, and dies at the age of 84, either here or in Virginia. Again, all over the place with this story. Mary Read, she's a pirate in a Jamaican jail. She died a year later from whatever pirates die from in a Jamaican jail. I'm sure it was not pretty. So, use your imaginations on that one. As far as the relativity to this building, it's because the story started when Anne moved here, 1708. The building was under construction. It's something familiar. We don't have many familiar buildings that she would have, although it is said you can hear and see her ghost all over town. I come here primarily because this is where I get the most evidence, and if you actually go back and read all of the blog posts and stuff that I've done, my first investigation on this place, I never even believed the story because I didn't have enough stuff going on with it. When I got booted out of Philadelphia Alley because of a new neighbor, and I started coming up here, that's when it all started to come through. So I'm definitely going to be changing out a battery and checking on Amy's word list, so we're going to dive into that and changing out the battery on this guy. If you go to the front of the building for film and lasers, London can help you guys with that, because we definitely don't want to go above the powder magazine because you'll be shooting into somebody's living room. This building is an apartment building right now, but we can get some thermal imaging up there. We can take the full spectrum up there, spirit boxes. We just don't want to be, in the other tour's way. So I try to keep the spirit boxes along the side and the side lot close to the building over here. So me and London will kind of help direct, but I am going to start with your battery.
So her name was
Anne.
Anne. Okay.
Last name Bonnie.
Okay.
And then there's Mary Read. Oh, 2 questions I did not give you. It's not going to be all the pinky stuff like I told you. I didn't give you the name of Calico Jack's ship, and I did not give you the name of Anne Bonny's parents. Those are 2 things that I can actually prove. So let's dive in and see what we can come up with. I'm going to be super surprised if Jamie comes up with the right answers on that one. She's been pretty impressive tonight. All right, guys, let's have some fun in here. Let's get you into that.
All right. Cool dog.
Yeah.
Kind of like Suki, but not really.
It's really warm.
Huh?
I said it's really warm.
It's flipping hot. That's wild though, how old that building is and what those things are for.
I'm not getting anything. Everything's so warm.
I know. I think I'm becoming the skeptic. I think I'm becoming the skeptic now.
Why?
Because I haven't gotten any cold spots.
Okay, well, maybe the ghost's not here.
Maybe. Maybe a girl can barely walk with their heels on. Yeah, I think we gotta go closer to the building, Tess. 10:24.
How long does this thing go to?
I don't know. How long does it go to? How long do they usually go to?
What do you mean?
Like, how long is the tour? Like, when is it over?
It depends on how much activity we have at our last location. So it'll go from 90 minutes to 2 hours.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think we got the crummy of the gadgets.
No, we don't.
We just haven't had the activity yet.
I had the activity.
You had
Mine
activity.
was blowing up.
Maybe I had activity that I missed. That's why I recorded it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I wasn't staring at it.
Huh. Alright.
It's not over yet.
Not over yet.
Did you guys head up front to go see the front of the building?
We did, yeah. Oh, you mean way up front or
Yeah,
right
you
here?
can actually leave the lot and
Okay.
go to the front as long as you're not interrupting other tours getting in their way. You know, you can get some footage up there. Throw your camera right in the gates, just like what you did over here.
Yeah, let's go check out the front, Tessie. You can come back.
Miss Bonnie, what ship was captured by the English?
Just saying. Ghosts are real.
Oh, I think so.
Full-time ghost believer now. Oh, 5.5.
That's wild. I thought it said like 60. I was wrong. It's cooler up top. Is today Friday? Yeah.
I really don't want to go on a Missouri road trip.
No.
No. We're gonna be there for like 4 days. On the 7th, so we get back on the 1st, which means
It'll
1,
be
2,
fun,
3,
right?
4. Not looking forward to it.
Do you have to go?
Probably. I made all like the reservations for the hotel and everything. So it's pretty
Yeah.
sense pretty not so great.
Oh, yeah.
What he farmed, but his farm
Right.
in Georgetown. So probably right. Based on the time period. Yeah.
Seriously?
November. Oh, guess when the date of the trial was? November 28th, 1720.
Don't tell me the answer because I'm going to keep questioning if it's
November 28th
But
is mom's
so when I
birthday.
asked about the boat, I got gun and powder. Something like that.
But you have gunpowder. We're next to the powder.
Yeah. And then for her parents' names, I got an R.
No.
Okay.
I just got Isaiah.
But, like, seriously, she has gun and powder. We're next to the powder magazine.
Yep.
And then, what, you said something else just popped up. It was,
Oh, it was carbohydrate. November.
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 That's huge here.
And Isaiah.
What about a cat? Does that signify anything?
My yellow cat, that's Jack.
Oh, that's your
So,
cat?
No, but
Oh.
what Jack will do, the reason why I call him Jack is
Yeah.
because he will go and sit on the numbers of certain spots.
Really?
And I've seen him go to 20, which is the year of Anne Bonny's trial. He'll go to 21, which is the year Mary died. And then I've seen him go, what was the other? It was 28, which is the date of the trial. So November 28th.
Wow.
So we have film of him doing that, so I just named him Jack. I don't know if it's a male, I don't care. His name's Jack. So,
Aw.
Is it just like a stray cat?
yeah, and he's got a
He's got a
flea
collar, so
Yeah.
somebody must take care of him. He might be like a
Outside cat.
outside cat that someone feeds.
Yeah, that's probably it. I mean, we are relatively close to neighborhoods. So,
Yeah. Which I didn't even know people do.
what,
My
feed stray cats?
Neighbor, our
Yeah, like a company I worked for, they had like a stray cat that like was they fed it. Yeah, it's kind of cool.
I was a manager for Walmart for years.
Yeah.
And I worked overnight. And all the damn cats came in because one of my stalkers used to take the broken cans of cat food out to them. I'm like, dude, what are you doing?
Right.
Like, you can't be out here feeding the cats. No wonder they're all running around.
You let us take in Boo for a couple weeks. Well, since we're not, like,
That cat had to go.
he lived
Is
up
he
the
on a
road.
certain? No, he's just showing now.
Yep, he's not on a number. The numbers are at the end.
They're
so,
definitely.
like,
He's not afraid of people.
No, he comes up and just rubs right all over my people all the time. Again, he's just
How many nights a week do you do this?
6. And I am jam full. So, again, I write during the daytime, hang out with her when she's down here from Myrtle Beach.
Yeah. Cool.
So, and then I take you guys ghost hunting. What do you got?
Jamie said that she had J Grand as the ship, like Grand J, something
Nope.
like that. No?
Nope, not even close.
Cassie, what are you doing?
It's a ghost.
I'm getting not much.
Yeah.
And in
Highest
here,
I got was 5.
in here, this is more of a dead zone for EMF.
Yeah.
But the fact that we have so many clues that are coming up around everything else, that 5 is a good thing. It's not the Pinckney Mansion site for sure.
Yeah.
Like that place is a little nuts when it comes to EMF activity.
How did you determine where to start looking when this? Just
Well,
by history?
I have to follow the tourism guidelines first off.
Yeah.
So of course within the map that they give us, I have to, like I literally walk around with an EMF meter during the daytime, see where my activity is and realize if there's a story there or not. That's how I found the Pinckney Mansion site. That's how I found the Big Red Barn. So with that said, I just research and research and research. And of course, once I have enough to actually add it to the tour, like we're getting ready to add an actual cemetery to this place. It's right around the corner. A lot of the other tours go there, but there's a tie to the Pinckneys that I want to add in. Like I almost want to end it there and like take out Lodge Alley because I don't get as much activity out of Lodge Alley anymore. So I want to remove that and divert people straight here, and then we go to the cemetery to end it. So again, it's going to constantly change.
Right.
I walk around with an EMF meter, kind of see where I'm going to get any activity. If I've gotten things, I leave the wordless spirit box running. So I take a look at it when I get home. You know, what came up, what am I going to expect here, what's going to lead me into more data. Because again, the Pinckneys, I can write novels on these people now. Just because I've learned so much over the past 2 years from all the tours. I have to research them pretty much every morning.
Huh.
If I don't know it off the top of my head, like we have the name Lauren came up. We have Henry Lauren Pinckney buried right over here.
Right.
That me and London stumbled across the other night. So it was kind of like, god damn, like it just keeps coming. It never ends with the Pinckneys.
Have you done this in other cities?
No. The goal here is to actually have a shop. So we want to have kind of like the ghost hunting store and bookstore downstairs, and then a haunted hotel upstairs. Of course, everybody gets a gear of equipment, and then we'll move over to St. Augustine and New Orleans and let him run his retail, have 2 or 3 guides per place. The hotel will obviously be the moneymaker then, and then just sit back and retire. Just teach these people to actually ghost hunt and treat people with respect.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike the fight that got picked with me at the beginning.
Oh. That might have been my fault. I kind of looked over at him. I felt
No, he
wanted
came
to
right
see
over and
his
asked me if
heat.
I could shut up.
Oh, he did?
Yeah,
Oh.
that's what started. I'm like, dude, I'm trying to work here. Like, I tell stories in certain areas on purpose. So, I think you might have a new cat.
Yeah. Don't get seen enough. But I don't want to be rude.
I asked,
Oh, we got
where
one more
was her
spot.
first child, and she said, leave him. And she left him in Cuba, you said.
It's cool though.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah.
Yeah, she said leave.
Ministry.
It's
Scientist.
Interesting. Alright, anything else popping up crazy on yours?
Ministry. Scientist just popped up.
How does that thing work?
So the claim on this is that it's going through the radio stations just like the other two,
Oh,
only
it's
it's
a
taking
different
the
device.
guesswork out.
Gotcha.
It's just giving us words that it hears on the radio stations.
Gotcha.
There is sound effects to this thing, but it's meant to be a game. But,
Gotcha.
I mean, we had 4 clues here already related to the story we're telling. So again, you can't deny that stuff, and it's not coincidence. Not when I have 4 specific things that I said that come up on this particular box. This is my first thing that I go to because it has timestamps on every word. So that way I know where to watch your thermal. That's where I know to listen to the first spirit box, and I kind of bounce around with it. And I spot check all this stuff based on that list. So with that said, that's my first go-to thing.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's
No,
gonna be pretty
no
heavy.
witches around here though. Witch came up.
No.
Okay.
Which came up here last night, actually.
Witch and Rep. Rest in peace.
Yeah, right? We are next to 2 cemeteries.
We
We're right
are.
between 2 of them.
Yeah, that's right.
So once Harry comes back over, we'll go ahead and get this wrapped up. There you go. Not relevant, but pretty neat. Unless Calico Jack had another side.
EVA at the very beginning of the
Yeah. Alright, well, as we wait for Harry to come back around with those lasers, let's go ahead and head over this way. Jamie, you want to go
There
in
you
front
go.
and tell them we're going to wrap things up?
Okay.
Is anybody else as sweaty as I am?
Oh,
Good Lord.
I think I'm gonna wear. I wasn't gonna wear. I was gonna wear those pants and my shorts.
But they're gonna have things up.
Business card. So London's going to give you guys my card so you guys have my contact info. As far as the results, tomorrow we do have a museum that we're visiting tomorrow afternoon, so I'm going to be going through and hopefully, fingers crossed, with the thermal imaging video I can get done before noon. Lately it's been taking me till 2 or 3 o'clock to get everything wrapped up because of the thermal imaging problems I've been having. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we're still good to go. And my contact info is on the back. Get in touch with me when you guys find more. The website is also on there, so you guys can check it out. It's real simple, storiesinthecemetery.com. But again, it's all on the back of that card. It's also going to be at the top of your data page that I will text all of you. Actually, we need to get Jamie's phone number, so if you want to go write that down for me. Pick a page, make sure her name's on it. So that way I can text you guys. But I'm going to start collecting the devices. You guys can ask me a million questions. I can give you directions back to your cars. However you want to do this, but I'm going to stop the recording so we have a gist of how much data you're going to actually have tomorrow.
8699.
Because I can usually tell based on how much the audio was.
No
So
problem.
an hour and 45 minutes here, which is going to probably give you about 6.5 to 7.5 hours total. So you guys are going to have a lot to go through. And I'm super excited about the words that came up on the list here, especially the word November. We did have the word doctor, practice, and assault come up as I was telling the doctor story. So the doctor's practice and he got assaulted. I'm pretty stoked about that. And then as far as like the words that Jamie came up with, I mean, she was on it. She was on top of that thing. Good job. So it's not an easy device to go through. Thank you. All right, so I'm going to go down the horn and start collecting your tools. Then we can get you guys going in the right direction. What questions do you guys have?
Can you just? I'm gonna give my last guess on what the ship could have
Oh
been.
yeah, I
and
didn't give you the name of the ship, did I?
yeah, wait. Can I give my last guess? Because I heard the last one. Self-in-wid, Blazer, Treasure, Phaser. No.
So it was called the Kingston. So I expect things to show up like the King. Nice job, right? And battery didn't die on us. It was called the Kingston. So anything dealing with royalty is where I get my clue if you're asking what that is. Do I expect somebody on the radio to say Kingston? No. I don't. The name of Ian Barney's parents was William Cormack and Mary Brennan. There's devices. Oh, nice. Yeah. You can take two at a time, so let's do those two. Nice job. This is a sweaty night, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Nice job.
Thank you.
See this on a Christmas list for somebody, Dad. All of the tools and devices, by the way, that everybody used, those are all at the top of the data page. Everybody asks me questions, including the apps that I use.
Thank you.
So I use different apps on my own investigations as well. Oh, you did amazing.